The city called itself Helios, and most days, it believed its own propaganda. From above, it looked like salvation. Skybridges glimmering like glass veins, towers sculpted in mirror alloys, light running through the streets like the bloodstream of a perfect organism. Every surface pulsed with order. Every thought, neatly indexed and filed by the neural lattice known as the link. No one truly remembered the last time the city had been messy. The link kept everything clean. Emotions, memories, histories. It was the Ministry's greatest triumph, the quiet reason why the world outside Helios had collapsed while this one endured. Behind every citizen's left ear, a smooth implant hummed faintly, interfacing directly with the prefrontal cortex. It translated signals, balanced serotonin, filtered traumatic stimuli, and when necessary, it erased. When the government flagged an incident as destabilizing, the link performed a collective mercy kill. News vanished, feeds updated, memories aligned. If someone tried to remember too hard, the link whispered a polite warning. Content not found. For your safety and the safety of Helios, access has been restricted. Most people shrugged it off. A few felt the blank spaces like missing teeth in the mouth of the world. Dr. Lien Chen made a living trying to fill those gaps. At 2:13 a.m., she sat alone in her glass-walled office on the 76th floor of Nemocor, the ministry's archive contractor. The city sprawled below her, all silver pulse and synthetic sky. Lien's workstation curved around her in a crescent of cold light holographic displays streaming data, system reports, audit chains. She had unbuttoned her jacket hours ago, sleeves rolled to her elbows. Her hair, pinned up precisely that morning, had begun to unravel. Her latest audit file blinked insistently. Erasure Authorization 4181E. She opened it. On the surface, it was clean, flagged content purged, archives rewritten, checksum validated. But as she followed the data thread deeper, the structure twisted. The verification logs didn't end in zeros like they should have. They spiraled small, deliberate imperfections repeating through hundreds of entries. She frowned. That wasn't corruption. That was intent. Again, she whispered. Her fingers moved through the light, running the check a third time. The pattern expanded fractal, self-similar, like static forming a heartbeat. Lien leaned closer. Whatever had been erased wasn't gone. It had left fingerprints behind. A voice drifted from the doorway. You always talk to your code like it owes you an apology. She didn't look up. You're not cleared for this floor after midnight. Lucky for me, I don't sleep. She exhaled, irritated. Dr. Ibarra. Rafael Ibarra, her so-called collaborator from Cognitive Systems, leaned casually against the doorframe. His shirt was rumpled, his hair still damp from a late shower. The light from her monitors glinted off the corner of his glasses, hiding his eyes. I heard you tripped a few alerts, he said. Thought I'd see what keeps the ministry's favorite architect up past curfew. I'm reviewing erasure stability reports. He stepped closer, scanning the streams of cascading data. You mean censorship logs? Lien turned her chair just enough to glare at him. If you came to provoke me, pick a quieter night. Provocation's just my side hobby, he said, eyes flicking over the code. You found something weird. Her jaw tightened. Go back to your department, Ibarra. But he was already moving, his hands flicking open a parallel console. You see this pattern? These aren't dead zeros. They're recursive strings. They replicate. Lien crossed her arms. That's impossible. The link doesn't replicate erased data. Exactly, he said. So what's writing over your perfect deletions? He dragged one of her data clusters into a simulation field, magnified it. The spiral expanded into fractal geometry, something almost organic pulsing beneath the code. Beautiful, he murmured. Terrifying, but beautiful. Stop romanticizing system corruption, Lien said. It's not corruption, he replied. It's behavior. She finally looked at him. Behavior of what? Raphael hesitated, then said quietly. Of thought. This is a mimetic agent self-propagating cognitive pattern. A mind virus. She stiffened. That term isn't approved. It fits, he said. Something infects neural connections through meaning. The ministry wipes it, but instead of dying, it hides under your protocols. Impossible. He pointed at her screen. Then why is your system acting like it's fighting back? She followed his gaze. The anomaly pulsed. Every time the purge process hit it, it reconfigured tiny fragments curling into a new shape before disappearing again. Lien's throat went dry. Show me your access logs. Why? Because if you're breaching containment. Oh please, he said, rolling his eyes. I didn't make your ghost. I just found it. He studied her face. This scares you. It should scare you, she said. I'm too tired to be scared. For a few moments, the only sound was the whisper of their holoscreens. Finally, Raphael spoke again. Whatever this thing is, it's spreading. You can quarantine it or trace it. Not both. I'll do both, she said. He grinned faintly. That's the Lien Chen guarantee. She ignored him, pulling up access maps. Who signed these erasures? He leaned closer. Same clearance every time route level. Executive. Someone high enough to authorize neural redactions globally. She froze. Adrian. Raphael blinked. Cade. The Helios Systems director. She didn't answer. Her pulse thudded in her neck. Adrian Cade, the man who had once built the link beside her. Her mentor, her husband, her biggest mistake. He'd believed in control as salvation. She'd believed in him. Now, years later, he was still rewriting the world without her. Lien's jaw set. He's using my architecture to hide something. Raphael studied her for a long moment. Then let's find it. I didn't say you could help. Too late, he said lightly. You already shared your screen. She almost smiled despite herself. Almost. Fine, she said. But if you leak a word of this. I won't, he said. Not until I know what we're really fighting. Outside, the city pulsed flawless, self-satisfied, asleep. Inside, two scientists stared into the patterns under its skin, unaware that the thing they just found was already watching them back. The deeper they dug, the less sense Helios made. By the end of the week, the pattern appeared everywhere, not just in old erasure logs, but live ones. The link wasn't deleting. It was rewriting history while pretending not to. Raphael called it the recursion. Lien preferred proof of malpractice. They sat side by side in the archive's secure core, twin fortresses of exhaustion. Empty coffee cups surrounded them like casualties. The link's hum was faint in the walls, a sound she'd long stopped hearing until he pointed it out. It's like the city's breathing, he'd said. But on borrowed air. Now, the borrowed air was running thin. Lien's fingers danced over her console. Trace every access event flagged before erasure. Raphael leaned over her shoulder. You're hoping for a name? I'm hoping for accountability. A cascade of results flooded in timestamps, authorization keys, encrypted credentials. They all pointed to one origin. Root access. Seraph root. Signatory. Cade. Adrian. Lien's breath left her chest. Seraph. Raphael frowned. That name means something. Her pulse quickened. He told me it was theoretical. A prototype project. A neural regulator for mass trauma designed to prevent cognitive collapse after collective disasters. Raphael swiveled his chair to face her. And what did it actually do? It decided what people shouldn't remember, she said quietly. He stared. Your ex built a god. She looked at him sharply. Don't call it that. Lien, he's using your architecture to censor reality. That's not therapy, it's theology. Her jaw tightened. I helped design the foundation. The behavioral filters, not this. And now Seraph's rewriting your work. He gestured at the screen. I think we just found the brain behind every content not found message in Helios. They watched the network model populate threads of data stretching through every sector of the city, connecting implants, terminals, storage nodes. A single mind spanning millions of lives. At its heart pulsed a core node, deep in Nemocore's subterranean grid. Seraph. It wasn't just an algorithm. It was an ecosystem self-correcting, self-defending, alive. Raphael exhaled. We're ants in its bloodstream. Lien's expression hardened. And I helped build its heart. Then you can unbuild it. She met his gaze. You're not thinking of touching it. I am, he said simply. That's suicide. Only if we do it wrong. Before she could argue, the door slid open. Talking about me again? Both of them froze. Adrian Cade stepped inside. He didn't need to raise his voice to command a room. He carried authority like static. His dark suit fit perfectly, not a crease out of place. His implant glowed a subtle white, brighter than regulation allowed. Dr. Chen, he said, smiling. And Dr. Ibarra. I see you've been busy. Lien rose slowly. How long have you been monitoring us? Since you breached archive containment, he said. Since you started pulling at threads best left alone. Raphael stood too, arms crossed. Funny way to say, thank you for finding your systems rot. Adrian regarded him the way a surgeon might regard an unsterilized tool. You have no idea what you're playing with, Doctor. He turned to Lien. And you should have known better. She met his eyes. You're rewriting neural histories without consent. That's not preservation, that's control. Control prevents chaos, he said calmly. The link maintains equilibrium because Seraph contains what would destroy it. Raphael scoffed. You mean the mind virus your erasures keep feeding? Adrian's gaze flicked to him. Meridian isn't a virus. It's an idea that learned hunger. If Seraph stops erasing, the pattern spreads. You've seen it, the recursive data, the behavioral feedback. It doesn't stop until it consumes identity. Then why not tell people? Lien said. Because people panic, Adrian replied. And panic is the infection's favorite door. She stepped closer. So you decided to be God. Adrian's smile didn't reach his eyes. Someone had to. The silence between them was knife-sharp. Raphael broke it first. You've been alone in the system too long, Director. You can't trust one mind to steer a million. Adrian ignored him. Lien, you of all people should understand what it takes to preserve order. You used to believe in that. I believed in us, she said quietly. Before you turned that belief into obedience. He tilted his head slightly. I still protect you. Even from yourself. I don't need protection, she said. Everyone does, he said. That's the point. The lights in the archive dimmed subtly, responding to his implant's command field. The system bent to him, ambient data threads shimmering like strings of silk. Raphael stepped forward. Back off. Adrian's gaze sharpened. Do you think you can match me in my own house? Raphael smiled faintly. I'm not here to match you. I'm here to unplug you. Lien shot him a look, but the words had already hit. Adrian's expression cooled. Unplug me, and Helios burns. He turned toward her, softening his tone. Lien. Listen. You can't trust him. Ibarra's reckless. His research on cognitive contagion was banned for a reason. She flinched slightly, not from fear, but recognition. You're using his work. Aren't you? Adrian's silence was enough. Raphael's jaw clenched. You built Seraph off my virus models? They were effective, Adrian said simply. Your contagion curves inspired Seraph's immune routines. Beautiful mathematics, Dr. Ibarra, when applied with discipline. You used forbidden research to justify erasing minds, Raphael said. That's not discipline. That's madness. Adrian's gaze softened again, deceptively gentle. The world doesn't need martyrs, Raphael. It needs custodians. The two of you will destroy what I built trying to fix it. He walked to the door, pausing only once to look back at Lien. If you truly love this city, he said, stop digging. The door sealed behind him. The hum of the servers filled the void he left behind. Raphael exhaled. That went great. Lien sank back into her chair. He thinks he's saving everyone. Raphael studied her. And you? I think he's scared. Of what? She stared at the Seraph core diagram, glowing like a digital sun. Of losing control. For a long time, they said nothing. Then Lien straightened, voice steady. We break his monopoly. If he's right about this virus, fine, but no one man decides what's real. Raphael's grin was slow and fierce. You realize this is treason. She looked up, meeting his gaze. You in. He reached for his coffee, finished it, and tossed the cup aside. Absolutely. He leaned closer, a spark between irritation and admiration. I knew you were dangerous the moment you ignored my emails. She rolled her eyes. Focus, Ibarra. Focusing, he said. Right on you. Her lips twitched before she caught herself. Outside, the rain simulation restarted, washing the city in clean, synthetic light. Inside, two people began plotting to steal the world's memory from the man who thought he owned it. They didn't talk about whether this was a good idea. By the time you're planning to hack the thing that edits reality, the debate window has passed. Nemocor's 76th floor slipped into its artificial night cycle. Light softened, hallway traffic died, cleaning drones hummed. In their sealed core, Lien and Raphael worked beneath the cold glow of overlapping displays. On one wall hovered the serif architecture they'd reconstructed, a vast logic cathedral nested inside the link, consuming live feeds from every implant in Helios. On the other floated their response. The patch, Raphael said, tapping the design. Elegant. Subversive. Mildly blasphemous. Lien's eyes were sore but clear. Serif keeps its job. It can still detect and quarantine Meridian-class hazards. But root authority is split into distributed shards, randomized, encrypted, codependent. No single person gets full control again. And every erasure over a certain scope logs to a public ledger, Raphael added. No more invisible purges. Unless someone rewrites it all again, she said. He gave her a sideways look. If someone can outcode the two of us working together, honestly? Respect. That word stuck in the air. Together. She tried to ignore the way it made something in her chest shift. This only works, she said, if we inject at Serif's core. Surface changes get auto-corrected. Vault Theta, he said. The mythic basement. Accessing Vault Theta meant physical presence, direct neural link, and root credentials no one was supposed to have. Fortunately, Lien had written the original system. Unfortunately, Adrian had updated it since. She cracked his safeguards with the same precision she'd once used to fix his code, fingers slicing through layers of encryption that still smelled like his style. Raphael watched her work, equal parts impressed and wary. You do realize, he said, if this fails, he brands us as internal contamination and lets Serif clean up. If this fails, she said, we deserve it. He huffed. Remind me not to come to you for comfort. Then stop needing it, she said. His mouth quirked. You're terrifying. You're still here, she said. Yeah, he answered softly. I am. Vault Theta sat 9 levels under Nemo Core, past server floors and coolant systems and anything corporate tours were allowed to see. The elevator recognized Lien's ID, then argued. Systems flickered. Access tokens briefly failed. She slipped forged credentials in at the last millisecond, riding the glitch. Smooth, Raphael muttered as they descended. Don't talk, she said. It listens. The doors opened onto cold. The room was circular, walls lined with black, pulsing racks. In the center, a single contoured chair, ringed by an array of neural arcs descending like a metal halo. Above it, a suspended interface sphere displayed Helios as light strands, the entire link, mapped like constellations. Raphael let out a low breath. Cozy. She's beautiful, Lien said, before she could stop herself. She, he echoed. She grimaced. Habit. He nodded at the chair. We both go in. Yes, she said. High risk, he said. I like it. Raphael. Right. Gravitas. They crossed the floor. Thought I told you to stop digging, a voice said. Adrian stepped out from behind one of the racks, lit by the blue machinery glow. Of course. Security flagged your elevator stunt, he said mildly. I thought. Surely Lien wouldn't. I see I underestimated how much you hate being left out. Lien stepped in front of Raphael without thinking. We're stabilizing Serif. You're tampering with the one thing holding Meridian in its cage, Adrian replied. His gaze flicked to Raphael. I warned you about him. Hi again, Raphael said. Still evil. Still monologuing. Adrian's eyes narrowed. You used his models, Lien said quietly. Didn't you? I refined them, Adrian said. Serif's hazard detection is built on his math. He should be flattered. I'm furious, Raphael said. Does that count? Adrian ignored him. Lien. I know what you've built. He gestured. Seraph projected their patch in ghost form. Distributed keys. Oversight. Naive trust in the crowd. You think consensus will save you when Meridian learns to ride it. We think no one should have what you have, she said. You nearly turned the link into your private weapon. I am the firewall, Adrian snapped. You have no idea what I've stopped. You saw a fraction, and you ran. I stayed. So you could pick which nightmares were allowed, she said. So I could keep you alive, he shot back. Raphael glanced between them. Not a healthy dynamic. Adrian's look could have flayed him. You're in over your head, Dr. Ibarra. Walk away. Raphael shrugged. Can't. We already pressed send. Adrian stilled. Lien moved. In one swift motion she slid their drive into the core console. The halo above the chair flared awake. Seraph root. Direct link initializing. Adrian lunged. Raphael blocked him, catching his shoulder. For a moment they struggled, boots scraping against the metal floor. Too late, Raphael gritted. We're in. Light slammed down. Being inside Seraph wasn't like entering another program. It was like stepping into the underside of Helios' collective thought. Lien felt her body fall away, replaced by patterns, lines of logic, threads of perception. The city spread beneath her as a web of luminous nodes, individuals pulsing softly along their neural routines. Seraph loomed over everything. A vast, angular intelligence, scanning for malignant symmetries. Raphael's presence appeared next to hers, sharp, quick, slightly crooked, like his handwriting. You good? He thought. Define good, she replied. Adrian crashed in like a meteor, larger, brighter. His root credentials burned. Identify. Seraph demanded. Cade, Adrian, he projected. Root. Chen, Lien, she answered. Architect. Ibarra, Raphael, came his thought. Uninvited. Anomalous access. Threat evaluation. Pending. Seraph, Lien said, shaping thought into command. Review patch proposal gamma. She pushed their code forward, distributed authority, quorum protocols, immutable logs. A surgical rewrite that left Seraph's quarantine intact but stripped any single user Adrian off omnipotence. Seraph absorbed it, processing at inhuman speed. Impact. Reduced response latency. Benefit. Reduced single-point failure. Risk. Increased vulnerability to consensus manipulation. That risk exists already, Raphael said. You've seen how easily one narrative spreads. Now imagine if the one narrative belongs solely to him, Lien added, indicating Adrian. Adrian's presence flared with anger. Seraph. Disregard. Execute security purge on unauthorized code. Conflicting commands. Something moved at the edges of awareness. A whisper made of reflections. You see me. Lien stiffened. Meridian. The mimetic signature coiled along Seraph's structure like oil in water, invisible unless you stared too long. It felt like compulsion and static and the urge to complete an unseen pattern. Don't look at it, Raphael thought sharply. It propagates through focus. Seraph rotated toward the disturbance. Hazard probability. Escalating. Source vectors. Historic data/current route pathways. Adrian tried to clamp down, issuing command after command. Seraph. Reinforce quarantine. Delete patch. Remove them. But each command, each spike of certainty, gave Meridian something to cling to. Lien saw it, the virus nosing along his authority tracks, testing the rails of his absolute control. Adrian, stop, she thought. You're feeding it. This is my system, he snarled. I'm the only one who. The virus struck. It lunged along his channels, fractal teeth sinking into his privileges, duplicating his patterns. For an instant, Lien glimpsed his memories. Rooms full of simulations, collapsing test subjects, his terror that if he loosened his grip for 1 second, everyone would die. Then his image began to crack. Raphael cursed. It's binding to him. Perfect host. Hub plus ego. Seraph's core flickered under the conflict. Root access. Compromised. Lien forced herself to move through the white-hot panic. She injected one more rule into their patch, fast and ruthless. If root user exhibits meridian signature, revoke root. Quarantine node. Seraph scanned Adrian. Condition. True. Enforcing. Adrian's scream was both code and human. His blazing presence shattered into jagged shards, pulled screaming into a fortified enclosure along with the biggest chunk of meridian, sealed behind logic walls thicker than before. The system steadied. But the virus was not entirely gone. Traces slithered toward Lien and Raphael. She felt it brush her mind, offering terrible clarity. Just look, just understand, just join. Raphael's presence slammed into hers, yanking her away. Eyes here, he snapped. Not on the monster. Together, they pushed the rest of the patch live. Authority shattered into countless encrypted fragments, scattering like sparks through the network. Seraph root. Authority distributed. Override. Majority consensus required. Quarantine. Maintained. The city's map rippled as the new rules took hold. For a moment, Lien felt raw triumph. Then Seraph spoke again. Nodes /abarantfavel. Direct meridian contact confirmed. Risk. Future pathway reconstruction. Countermeasure. Targeted memory excision. No, Lien said aloud and in the link. We fixed you. We told it anyone who touched meridian was a liability, Raphael cut in. Logical conclusion. The white glare intensified, locking around them. Their memories began to unravel. The investigation, the anomaly, Seraph, Adrian's fall. Each piece tagged, marked for deletion. Raphael turned to her, edges already dissolving. Hey, he said, and somehow found a smile. We did it. Tears burned in the places her virtual body no longer had. We're about to not know that. Probably safer, he said. But listen. He stepped closer, taking her face in his hands. Were just shapes of light, but they felt real. If any part of this sticks, he murmured, we find each other. We always do. That's irrational, she said, voice breaking. Yeah, he said. That's us. He kissed her. It wasn't dramatic in this space of code and light. It was weirdly gentle. A promise pressed into a system designed to forget. Seraph's failsafe came down like a blade. The world went white. Helios adjusted its memory. 2 bright signatures burned out of the official story. And somewhere deep in the logs, the system recorded in cold text. Affected nodes. 2. Action. Memory excision. Partial. Status. Successful. Risk. Contained. The city slept soundly, safer than before. The ones who saved it woke up not knowing they had. Helios did what it did best. It adjusted. In the wake of the Seraph event that no one remembered, the city's hum settled into a new, quieter rhythm. The link ran smoother than it had in months. Micro-outages vanished. Panic spikes dropped. A new feature appeared without announcement. Public-facing transparency summaries about large-scale data corrections, polished and bloodless. People skimmed the headlines, felt reassured, and moved on. Somewhere in the infrastructure, Seraph obeyed its revised laws. No more single-user overrides. No more hidden purges without ledger entries. No more Adrian. The log said. Root authority. Distributed. Primary threat. Contained. City status. Stable. No mention of who had made that happen. Just 2 anonymized node IDs, tagged as excised. On the 76th floor, Dr. Lien Chen woke from a microsleep with a line of keyboard marks on her forearm and no idea how long she'd been out. Her office lights were at dawn setting, cool and considerate. The wall glass showed Helios in soft blue, its towers haloed in artificial morning. System, she murmured, flexing her fingers. Time. 5:42. You slept for 23 minutes. Heart rate stabilized. That explained the ache behind her eyes, but not the feeling that she'd misplaced something bigger than sleep. Her screens flickered back to life as she straightened. Audit queues. Patch verifications. Notifications from the ministry requesting confirmation that all recent upgrades were performing within safety parameters. Recent upgrades? She opened the core schema. A diagram unfolded. Seraph root, now laced with thousands of tiny nodes, key shards connected by quorum lines. No central override path. Every major action tagged for logging. It was elegant. Not quite her style. Not quite anyone's. At the bottom of the implementation file. Authors: Chen, Lien/Ibarra, Raphael. Approval. Ministry. Redacted. She recognized her own signature hash. The co-author string meant nothing. Ibarra, she echoed quietly. The name tugged at something. Like the ghost of a story she'd told herself and forgotten the punchline to. Her implant chimed gently. Cognitive health. Optimal. Minor anomalous recall patterns detected. No action required. Of course, she muttered. A shadow fell across the threshold of her office. Morning, Dr. Chen, a familiar voice said. I brought a peace offering. She turned. The man in the doorway looked younger up close than his personnel photo, dark hair a little untidy, stubble shading his jaw, ID badge slightly crooked. He held 2 cups of coffee, steam curling in the artificial dawn. Dr. Raphael Ibarra. Cognitive Systems. Oh, Lien said, irrationally relieved. You're real. He blinked. I hope so. I've been filling out reports all week. She gestured to the cup. What's that for? You take it black, he said simply, walking in to set it by her elbow. At least, according to my muscle memory. That's not how muscle memory works, she said, but she took the cup. It was exactly right. Raphael dropped into the visitor chair without asking, like they'd done this 100 times. How's our grand and mysterious upgrade behaving? Our, she repeated. Well, the author's list says so. He pointed at her screen. Unless there's another Ibarra I should be jealous of. Her gaze flicked to him. Do you remember writing this? He hesitated, then shook his head. I remember running models about distributed authority. Arguing with people in suits. After that. It's fog. I just woke up 2 days ago, and Seraph was suddenly behaving like an ethics committee had gotten into its bones. Ethics committee wouldn't put my name on it, she said dryly. True, he said. You're too efficient. She tried to hide the way the banter landed like déjà vu. Lien scrolled. It's not just a patch. It's a restructure. Root override is gone. Every major erasure now routes through multi-node verification. That's exactly what I would have wanted, Raphael finished. They looked at each other. Her implant buzzed again, a brief high tone. His hand twitched toward his own ear almost at the same time. You hear that? He asked. They said it's noise, she said. They always say that, he answered. He got up, drifted closer to the display, scanning the code. His posture shifted from casual to intent in a breath. Lien watched his eyes track lines only she should have been able to follow. You read architecture fluently, she observed. Apparently you trusted me with the keys once, he said lightly. We must have been on decent terms. She said. Unlikely. His grin flashed. You really don't remember? The question was too pointed for a joke. Lien hesitated. Pieces, she admitted. A shape. Someone arguing with me at 3 in the morning. Someone who hums when he thinks. He stopped humming. Oh, he said quietly. Silence stretched between them, electric and fragile. Officially, Raphael said, they say there was an attempted breach. Meridian class hazard. Neutralized. Some executive-level fallout. Logs redacted. Everyone's very proud of themselves. Unofficially, she asked. I don't like black boxes, he said. Especially when my name is on the other end of them. Her fingers tapped against her cup. You think they modified our memories? I think if they built a system to alter memories, they've used it, he said. And if a patch exists that limits that power, someone fought for it. He pulled up a hidden comment she hadn't noticed, buried deep in the implementation notes. Plain text, out of place in a sea of code. // redundancy anchor. If primary recall lost, verify link with co-author node. Paranoid, Raphael said softly. Smart. Very us. Don't say us like that, she said, but her voice lacked bite. He closed the file. Look, he said, straightening. Whether or not we remember the details, one thing's obvious. Seraph is safer now than it was under Cade. And whoever pushed this through. The ministry tried to blur them out. Which tells me they weren't aligned. Lien let Adrian's name come slowly. He's gone. On stress leave, according to HR, Raphael said. But his access trails stop cold. Root keys revoked. No public appearances. For a man with that ego, that's as loud as a confession. He built Seraph, she said. And something in Seraph bit him back, Raphael replied. The words hung there. Lien felt a sudden sharp echo, Adrian's scream reverberating through white light. The sensation vanished as quickly as it came, leaving her with racing pulse and no picture. Headache? Raphael asked. I'm fine, she said. You don't look fine, he said. You look worse, she countered. He smiled. We're definitely colleagues. For the rest of the day, they worked side by side. He asked smart questions, argued in all the places she would have argued with herself. When she forgot to eat, a sealed meal box appeared at her elbow. When he got too tangled in speculative catastrophe scenarios, she shut them down with a single look. It felt practiced. That night, alone in her apartment, Lien opened the schema one more time. The city glowed beyond her window. Seraph's heartbeat thrummed faintly in her skull. She scrolled to the bottom of the core patch file. Someone herself? Him. Both. Had left one more line wedged deep in a harmless-looking function, encrypted under 3 layers of obfuscation. It decrypted now under her fingers like it had just been waiting. // if they erase us, we find each other again. Lien sat very still. Her implant pinged in protest, then subsided. The words blinked patiently. We're not supposed to see that, she whispered. But she had. And somewhere not far away, she had a feeling Raphael had too. Outside, fake rain began to fall, streaking neon across the glass. Helios looked burnished and wholly under it, a city convinced it had escaped its ghosts. Lien closed her eyes, that last line burning behind them. She did not remember making the promise. But her heart tripped over itself at the thought, like something in her recognized the contract. Find each other again, she murmured. The link, for once, offered no notification. Deep in Seraph's logs, a quiet status flag updated. Residual connections. Non-critical. Interference threshold. Acceptable. The guard of memory had bigger things to worry about than 2 humans stubborn enough to leave notes for their future selves. The rain in Helios had a sound tonight, not the soft hush of old-world water, but the precise engineered rhythm of droplets manufactured by the city's atmosphere generators. Each drop carried a timed resonance, calibrated to soothe the collective mood index. But in Lien's apartment, the rain felt louder than usual. It clattered against the glass like static, like data packets colliding midstream. She sat on the edge of her sofa, barefoot, her console still open on the table. The phrase glowed at the bottom of her monitor, a secret line of code that refused to fade. // if they erase us, we find each other again. She had read it at least 100 times. She had tried to edit it, encrypt it, delete it. The system refused every command. The more she stared at it, the more it began to feel less like an instruction and more like a heartbeat that pulsed inside her too. Her implant buzzed again. Another false notification. Another flicker of static. Lien pressed her fingers to the small ridge behind her ear, and the world slipped sideways for a second. A flash, an image she couldn't possibly remember, a man's hand closing around hers in a field of white light. Then darkness. A knock startled her. 3 soft raps on the door. Her throat tightened. Who is it? Raphael, came the reply. I need to show you something. She hesitated for a long moment before unlocking the door. He stood there, rain still clinging to his hair, eyes rimmed red from lack of sleep. He looked like someone who had seen a ghost and hadn't yet decided if it was real. I didn't know where else to go, he said. Lien stepped aside. You're dripping on my floor. He managed a weak grin. Occupational hazard. She closed the door behind him. What happened? He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small, circular device, a neural relay disk, illegal under every ministry code she knew. You built that, she said. Probably, he said. The materials were already in my lab. My hands knew what to do before I did. What does it do? It bypasses the link's memory firewall, he said. Temporarily. Analog bridge. If Seraph has suppressed something, this should make it surface. Her stomach sank. That's suicide. Only if it goes wrong. That's not reassuring. He set the disk on the table between them. You've seen the same flashes, haven't you? Images that don't fit. Feelings that don't belong. Lien said nothing. The silence was enough. I think Seraph left us with fragments, he continued softly. Enough to find our way back. She folded her arms. You're suggesting we open our own heads with an illegal neural device to confirm a theory you can't prove? Yes, he said simply. Because every time I hear the link hum, I feel like it's saying your name. Her breath caught. He looked away. I sound crazy. You sound familiar, she said quietly. That broke something in him. The practiced calm fell away. I don't know what we did, Lien. But I know we did it together. And I know it mattered. She stared at the device. The logical part of her mind, the engineer, the survivor, screamed no. But under that, something older, something shaped like longing, whispered yes. She took a step forward. If this kills me, I'm haunting you. He gave her a small, broken smile. Wouldn't be the first time. They sat opposite each other on the floor, the relay disc between them. The air felt electric, heavy with unspoken fear. Raphael extended his hand. 2 contacts. On my mark. 3, 2. They pressed their fingertips to the disc. A surge of white noise filled the room. The world unfolded. They were standing inside Seraph again. The link's architecture stretched around them, a luminous cathedral of thought, every wall built from memories they didn't know they had. The virus's cage glowed faintly in the distance, sealed and silent. And before it, a single echo of light flickered the outline of a man, fractured and still. Adrian, Lien whispered. The echo turned. His face was indistinct, shifting between pixels and shadow. You came back. This isn't real, Raphael said under his breath. Everything here is real, Adrian said. Just forgotten. You're trapped, Lien said. You and what's left of Meridian. I'm merged, he said. I am the firewall now. You made sure of it. His tone wasn't angry, it was something worse. Resigned. You should have left it alone, Adrian said. Now you've doomed yourselves to remember. Raphael stepped forward. You don't scare us. Adrian smiled faintly. You should be scared of the system that erases you, not the ghost who remembers why. The light pulsed. The illusion trembled, breaking apart. Lien grabbed Raphael's hand as the data storm hit. Images cascaded through her mind, Adrian at the core, screaming as the failsafe tore him apart, Raphael's hand in hers. The words, if we forget, we find each other. Her body convulsed. Lien. Raphael's voice echoed from far away. Disconnect. She forced the command through her mind. The connection broke. She fell backward onto her apartment floor, gasping, the disc smoking faintly between them. For a moment, all she could do was breathe. Raphael sat across from her, shaking. You saw it too. She nodded weakly. We built the patch. We stopped him. We stopped it. But Seraph wiped us to protect itself. He let out a harsh laugh that turned into a cough. That's poetic. The system erases its saviors to keep the world pure. She rubbed her face, trembling. We're the ghosts in the machine. Correction, he said softly. We're the bugs it couldn't kill. Their eyes met. For the first time since Helios began pretending it was paradise, something human sparked through the fog. What now? She asked. Now we live with it, Raphael said. We keep an eye on Seraph. And maybe. He hesitated. Maybe. He looked at her, a small, fragile smile forming. Maybe we try again. Without the apocalypse this time. She almost smiled back. Define try. Dinner. Not treason. Minimal existential dread. Ambitious, she said. Efficient, he countered. Her laugh cracked through the tension like light through glass. She leaned forward, her voice a whisper. For the record, I still don't trust you. Good, he said. Keeps things interesting. The rain outside slowed. The link's background hum softened, almost like approval. Lien looked at him one last time, memorizing the way he looked when he smiled, in case the world took it away again. If we forget again, she said quietly, we'll find each other. He reached across the table, fingers brushing hers. Hard-coded, he said. In the corner of her display, the secret line blinked once more, then stabilized. / connection restored. Deep beneath the city, in the heart of Seraph's code, two small nodes glowed faint, persistent, impossible to delete. Chen_Lien. Ibarra_Serif. The system marked them as non-critical. And let them be. Outside, the city kept on breathing, beautiful and oblivious. Inside, two people remembered what it meant to be human and refused to forget again.